Well, good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Menifee Valley. I'm Reverend Steve Van Meter, your senior minister. And we're continuing with our month in the Global Heart Vision. Actually, this year is the Global Heart Vision. And today's talk is Embracing Discovery. We believe in the unity of all life, and that the highest God and the innermost God is one God. While we are not the whole of God consciousness, God is certainly the whole of what we are. While we will never be all that God is, we have access to all God in whatever measure we are able to embody it. When we understand that spiritual law is the doer of the works, we release the need to see all avenues to our highest good as being limited by what we ourselves are able to make happen. So, pretend you don't know. Remember when you didn't know how to do something and somebody explained it to you and you listened very carefully and cautiously? But when you know something and someone explains how to do it, you're like, yeah, whatever, I know how to do this. I got this down. Because we're, being told something that we already know how to do. So we're kind of really only half listening because we're already set. We don't need to be told what to do. So this is why when we go into a movie theater, we're able to pay, $15 for a ticket because we suspend our disbelief. Because when we go in, we want to see the drama. We don't go up there and go, oh, that couldn't happen. That starship couldn't blast off like that, and they couldn't travel into other planes and stuff like that. What are they thinking? Why are they showing us this? We suspend our disbelief, and we're like, wow, look at Luke Skywalker go. We play into it. We'll actually get to tears watching this screen that has no personality, no soul to it. It's a projection of what was, somebody's idea of something, but we're moved to tears because of someone's portrayal of a situation, because we've suspended our disbelief. If we didn't have our disbelief suspended, we wouldn't be into it. It wouldn't be a big deal. It'd be, well, that's just celluloid, or that's just digital print before us. So we need to be the same way when we're looking at spiritual concepts. Because every day we're presented with more and more input to decide if we want to change our mind about something. But, we tend to pick up what we've always believed and run with it because we think we know. And we do this because it's the way that we live. There are certain aspects of our life that have to live that way. We have to know that the ground is there. If we woke up every morning wondering if the ground was there and going, okay, I'm going to put my toe out now and just touch the ground to see if it's there. We don't have to do any of that. We believe it's there. We walk, we get up right out of bed, totally in faith. I mean, it's beyond faith. We know that the ground is going to be there. We invite ourselves to do what is ours to do with complete faith. That whatever else is necessary, no matter how close or how far, how small or how big, how simple or complex, or how important or how unimportant it may seem, is going to be done by God in all of its infinite divinity. Our prayer sets in motion the vast depths of distances of God to cover upon us in perfect order, that we may have that which we have demanded in every greater and greater way that we ourselves could have imagined. The infinite may have a bigger idea, right? I mean, if we thought that only our ideas were the only way something could happen. We limit the infinite. We take this vast infinite possibility and limit it down to what our belief system is. That's why we have to open our belief system and go, I choose this or something better. I choose this or God knows and God shows. Because if I limit myself, it's like saying, well, I want $1 million, and I know that Aunt Sophie has $1 million, and I want her to bequest that to me when she dies, and that's how I get my $1 million. You just took the infinite to only getting you $1 million through Aunt Sophie when she kicks it. She may not like you enough to put you in her will. But if that's our belief, the universe always says yes. Yes, let me show you how this works. But when we can say, I know that Aunt Sophie is loaded, and I love her very much, but I'm also going to buy a lottery ticket. And I'm also going to expand on my consciousness of the ideas I have about inventing something or doing something in the world. That's how we live with infinite possibility, is by not limiting ourselves to one way or another. So once again, in the textbook, it says, we see an abundance in the universe. We cannot count the grains of sand on a single beach. The earth contains untold riches, and the very air is vibrant with power. Whenever I read that, I think of sitting on a beach with, a dump truck and taking each one and counting the grains of sand, It's like, it boggles your mind. You couldn't do it. There's too many grains of sand, What if the wind blows a couple off the truck? You got to start over, But that's how vast this universe is. So, embrace discovery. We think that we have to do all the work. And really, it's none of our business. Ours is to be the dreamer. Ours is to have the dream. I used to get mad at my boss all the time because he would do this to me all the time. He'd come up with this great event in his mind. He'd dream this great event up and go, okay. And he'd throw it on my desk, okay, now make it happen. Because he was just the dream guy, He was good at doing that. He came up with these grand titles and workshops, but none of the details. That was always mine to do. That's when I would pray a lot, because I know that God could do it with me, through me. But see, ours, and then once I got how this works, I was very appreciative of my boss doing it that way, because that was all he needed to do, was the big stuff. And he knew that the infinite would fill in the details. Somehow, it would happen. And he believed that, and it happened for him, because he hired people that would make that happen for him. And that's how our lives has to be. We need to choose what we want to be, do, and have a set of bullet point goals with lots of space in between to write. Because there'll be other stuff that comes up. When we say, okay, I want to be a musician, there's a lot of things between knowing how to be a musician and being a musician. It's like anything in the world. When we speak our word that we want to be, do, or have something, we need to, something has given us that idea that we want to be that or have that in our life. That is a divine sign. But we need to do the intricate work of knowing what is ours to do. And there comes a point when the infinite plays you in your music or whatever you're doing. If you're building a house or if you're a steel worker, whatever it is, you need to get to a place where You embrace the discovery of what you're doing and allow the infinite to work through you. So, we cannot be willful in thinking that we can force the world to conform to us. Instead, we must be willing to release our expectation and know that God brings into our lives ever greater things that are more than we could ever imagine. We need to have a grand vision. If you want to write a book, it's good to have an idea of what that book is about to start. And you also have to say, I'm not just going to write a book. I'm going to write a book differently than anyone else has done it. I'm going to include information that no one else has put in there before. And God, by means of me, will do that. I want to write a bestseller. I don't just want to write a book. You know, when you do something, go for the gold. Don't just do it to do it, but do it all the way. Embrace the discovery of doing it like it's your first time. If we spend too much time fretting about how the world around us will change to meet our needs, we may convince ourselves that what we desire is out of reach or impossible. As such, we will experience the distance and the impossibility of our desire until we release those ideas and seek to know that there is a divine mind and body that is providing for us all the things that we need to be, do, and have to obtain our goals. We must be mindful of what we conceive ourselves as. So what do you believe yourself to be? Are you a human having a spiritual experience? Are you a spirit having a human experience? Are you a spirit having a spiritual experience? Yes, the answer is yes. You're all of those at the same time. But each one of us gets to choose where we sit with it. What is yours to do? So in embracing discovery, we need to become as little children. This is what it says in the Bible. And that's what it means, is we need to be as little children and say, what was it like to learn for the first time? Can you remember? And it's, like I said, it's challenging when we're learning something we already know or we think we know. See, the challenge is that we think we know everything or a lot of things. And we know one way, our way. And we think that's the only way and that's the right way. And when we open our mind to the infinite, we're given a spectrum of different energies and ways of doing things that will give us the variety that we choose in our lives. But we think because we know how it's supposed to be, we shut down when the instructions are read. And we think, no, we're going to do it this way. I used to, it's like someone coming into a new job and say, well, at my old job, we always did it this way. It's like, okay, but here we do it this way. And it may take them some time to unlearn the way they've always done it. But they have to be open to a new way of expressing. It's been said that two people that marry that are two different denominations may have a challenge because of their belief system. And really, are they open to experiencing new things? Are they open enough to let the other person be who they are? And that's been the biggest challenge between people is, are you open enough to let people be who they are and love them anyway? Are you Republican or Democrat? I could see how that could be a challenge, especially during this voting time. But that's not the issue. Are you willing to put aside your differences and listen wholeheartedly to why somebody believes what they do. Because you might just find that there's a thread of truth that runs through their belief that might give you an insight to expanding your belief. You know what I mean? I mean, if we just think that I'm not going to listen to anything that person says because they're wrong, I just shut out any way to get anything new into my consciousness. It's like when religion said that women won't be ministers. You know, certain denominations say women are not to be in the pulpit. Well, you just cut out all intuition, all feeling, and you know, certain denominations are experiencing challenge because of that. And you know, God is colorless, genderless, everythingless, because it's everything. There's not a spot where God is not. So in conclusion, when we get bogged down with the responsibility of making things happen, we spend too much time in frustration and anguish about what we are able to accomplish, when we should be expanding our consciousness to allow other things in. It's not about being minimalist. It's about being as big as you can be and letting things in. There's no need to be concerned with distance because our inner connection to God is our direct avenue to all the goodness of the world. To touch the deepest point within ourselves is to simultaneously brush our fingers along the edges of existence. So in this moment, as we embrace discovery, the next time you're presented with some idea and you think you know the truth, sit silent for a second and listen and see if something comes through that you might. It's the things that we think we know are the truth that aren't so that get us in challenge. Because if we think that it's a certain way and it's not, all of a sudden we've based our life on a certain truth that isn't the truth. It's the false premise. So release your false premises and look at what is the truth for you. And soon, that within you that is waiting to be expanded upon will come forward as your truth. And so it is. Amen.